Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Tier List Maker. Also, welcome to the first episode of Tier List Maker. We haven't done this before. So today we're going to be discussing, all of the reserve vehicles in War Thunder, just ranking them from S to F, our favorite ones to our least favorite ones. And to do that and make sure I don't say anything too stupid, I have special guest Modrat with me. Say hello, Modrat.
I want to go back to grinding, chat.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You gotta do this. He's here, he's real, and he's going to help me make sure that I don't say anything just completely factually wrong about these vehicles. I got them all down here. Every single one of the reserve vehicles in War Thunder. I keep forgetting what they're called. That's great. I really did my research. Hey, we're just going to rank them. We're just going to rank them S to F. Oh, what's that, Modrat?
I'm going to get one thing wrong, and then they're going to all call me dumb in the comments, right?
Well, I get things right, and they call me dumb in the comments, so at least we're set with that.
There you go.
Yeah, but up first, which don't worry, I'll put them bigger on the screen so you guys can see them. So don't worry about that. Very first, we have the light armored car M8. This is the Chinese reserve car. I played this yesterday, Modrat. I kind of liked it. I don't know, how do you feel about the light armored car M8?
I mean, it has the best reserve tier weapon in the game. It's got 50 cal on it.
It does have the 50 cal on it. Yeah, it's fast. This is a pretty good reserve vehicle, I have to say.
Oh yeah, definitely. And its cannon's really good, especially once you get the better round on it. Now, it doesn't have any high explosive filler, but you definitely make up for the lack of damage with the 50 cal.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. What do you say? Probably A tier is fair?
Yeah, probably A.
A tier, yeah, we can see. Maybe we need to move it up later. I think we'd start that with A tier. Then up next, my very favorite tank, as everyone knows that's seen my least favorite tanks video, the T-26 for China. Just a fantastic vehicle that I don't like at all. It's slow. Its armament's not that good. I don't know. What do you like?
It's got an okay gun, and that's the only good quality it has.
Yeah, I mean, the turret traverse isn't great. The armor isn't great. Now,
you got that nice flat front plate that can get 50 cal through and kill everyone inside immediately.
Yeah, and hear me out. So I did a little bit of research for this video. I went back and I played all of the reserve vehicles. I thought this was going to go in F tier, as it is part of my least favorite tanks. It's not as bad as some of these reserve tanks are, though. So I think maybe D tier for this one would be fair. Because there's some things much worse. Yeah, because it's not, like I said, the armament's not useless.
It's only good quality, but it's not useless.
Right, but some things have no good qualities and a useless armament, so I feel like it deserves D tier for that. Yeah. D tier. Alright, moving on to France. Which, yeah, this is where things get even better. But this one's pretty good. The AMD 35, the car, I think this is a pretty good vehicle. I mean, it's quick.
It's middling. It's not as good as the M8.
No, it's not as good.
The M8 is a way superior version to this.
Definitely. And now it's not as good as the Dolomer, but also the Dolomer is like, what, 1.7, and this is 1.0 in a different country.
Well, this is reserve.
Yeah. I would say what? Now it's pretty maneuverable, and the armament is not as useless as the other thing in French Reserve, I don't think. So, I don't know, what, B or C?
I mean, C.
C,
it's
you
an
think C?
vehicle.
You think C? I'll put it in C. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're the guest on the show. Let's see. And coming up next, the Char Ledger Mobile 1935 H Modadefe 39.
They're going to massacre you for that pronunciation.
To any French people or anyone that speaks... Quebec Cadet, if you're watching, I'm very sorry. Yeah, we do have quite a loyal fan, actually, that's French, or Quebec, from Quebec, so I'm sure they're going to be very happy with me for that one. This is a terrible tank.
I actually challenge you to name one good thing about it.
There's nothing. Its armor's bad, its armament's bad. I don't like anything about this tank. This is one of the tanks I was thinking of when I said that the T-26 isn't the worst thing ever. It doesn't move. I mean, that gun on it is just used. I've never gotten a kill with this tank ever. I don't know. Do you have anything good to say about it? I'm looking through its stats right now to see if I can find something.
You know what it is?
What's that?
Better than the reserve vehicles they removed from France from being way worse.
Oh yeah, that's a good rat fact. If you guys play France and you haven't played France before, you get to a certain point, the game just hands you like 4 random tanks that they removed.
It's like 3, the original reserve tier vehicles.
Yeah, so if you want 3 completely useless reserves, make sure to play France now.
I'm pretty sure this is just a version of one of the vehicles they removed, but instead of giving it APCR, they gave it an actual round.
It's bad. I don't know. I'm trying to look through the stats to see if we missed something or But no, I mean it has a smaller. So it has a no. It has wait. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay. Making sure real quick. No, I mean no. There's no reason to use it. Just use the other thing. No, F tier. No,
it's just bad.
I double checked the stats on that. No, if you have a reason this is better than the T26, let us know.
Let us know because I can't find it.
Yeah, I just checked the stats in real time, and there's no reason. Don't use it. All right, on to Sweden, which these are okay. Well, one of them is. We have the STRV M31. I think is next.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the STRV M31.
You get a crazy APDS shell.
Yeah, you do.
That'll cut through anything, and a pretty good armor-piercing high-explosive shell, which will pin pretty much everything at the VR as well.
Exactly. And, a good news about this one is, unlike many of the other reserve tanks, it's not completely flat on the front. It's a little angled. So, you get that, too. Now, I'm not sure if the armor's thick enough to make a difference, but it's better than it being completely flat in the front. Oh, no, what do you say? This is like... It's not as... go on.
I'd probably say it's like a B tier.
I'm gonna say it's not quite as cool as the LAC, the LAC. I would say it's a little bit worse, but it's definitely not quite as bad as the French car.
Well, and the thing too is you can also, once you get that APDS shell, it does have a bit of play higher up. So if you don't, you could probably pull this up to 2.7 once you unlock rank 2.
Probably
that is one good thing it has going for it is those APDS shells give it a bit more flexibility in your early trees.
Oh, I was just peeking back at the Swedish reserve tree. I didn't get... Sweden gets a T28 at 1.7? I didn't know that.
A T28?
A T28, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The captured ones.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. The next we have the good old STRV M38.
So I don't recall these being very different.
The M38 seems to be lighter and faster. The same gun? Same gun. 37 millimeter on each. But no, the one's just a little bit lighter. It has only 13 millimeters of armor, whereas the other one has 24. And its top speed is about...
that much better.
Yeah, so wouldn't this just be a little bit worse than that one? It's just the same thing, but a little lighter?
Yeah, a little. I put it a little lower, personally.
Just put it down with the car? Do you think all the way down with, like, the T26?
No. This thing is way more playable than the T26.
You think C with the car, you think? The French car?
Yeah, I think it should be with the French car.
I'm comfortable with that one. Next, we're on to Britain, which is, I like Britain Reserve overall.
I really enjoy Britain Reserve.
Yeah, these are two solid tanks. Where they got split up. Let's see, where is the... I gotta lean in. Okay, so let's start with the A13 Mark 1. Now, this is not as good as the Tetrarch.
That's where I disagree with you. I enjoy it quite a bit more.
You like the A13 better than the Tetrarch?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, there's literally no reason. But I quite enjoy it.
The Tetrarch's faster. Is it have armor? And the Tetrarch's faster and has heavier armor. Now, which one has a better gun?
Well, the thing about the A13 is it has one more crew member, so I find I die in it less.
Oh, and that's really important at a low tier because you're just picking off
especially
crew members.
When you have a lot of solid shot going around.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that before. Because I usually just put the Tetrarch one and the Dolomer like in a thing when I'm down at low tier Britain. I don't even bother with the A13. You might be right though. Maybe it's been experimented with more. Okay. So what? You want to put it with the? It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. I would say both of these, the Tetrarch and which we can talk about the Tetrarch separately. But the A13 Mark 1, I don't know, A or S tier. I mean, they're pretty good as far as reserve vehicles go.
I mean, I'd say it's A tier.
It's A tier, yeah. And the Tetrarch was, I mean, it's similar. It's quick. It's quicker than the A13. It does have less crew. I wasn't even thinking about that when we were reviewing these. And I'm pretty happy with the armament on the Tetrarch.
Well, also the other thing, real quick, with the A13, as well as the gun handling, is fantastic. Its turret traverse speed is 25 degrees per second, whereas the Tetrarch only gets 11.
Oh, okay. So
the gun handling is fantastic.
And I said when we were prepping for this video, I try to give a little bit credence to how new players would deal with it because they are reserve vehicles. And so you probably have a lot more better time with it if you were a new player doing the A13. So I mean,
I think the Tetrarch should fit about the same. I'd say they're very comparable.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, I never noticed much of a difference. Maybe I like the Tetrarch more because I could say its name easier. Which now this is about the Dahlem. I'd be putting that thing in S tier. That's my favorite. That's my favorite like British vehicle.
Fantastic.
We could just do a whole episode, maybe next episode, just on low tier British stuff, because it's all my favorite stuff. But that's for another time.
Goofy.
Yeah, it's all goofy. You got the Archer, the the 3-inch gun carrier, where you just unlock the things also in the SARC, the SARC, whatever you call it, the Cromwell. I love all that stuff. Anyway, on to America. With two pretty solid choices. So starting with the LVT. I mean, I think America has one of the most solid reserves. That's why I recommend people start with America or Germany. But Germany doesn't have the most solid reserves. There's a solid tech tree. But America definitely has the most solid reserve lineup in my opinion. So starting with the LVT. I like the LVT. It's quick. The armament on it's pretty good. It is an awkward size, but yet again, it has a lot of crew. And because of that empty size, when you're firing solid shot, you survive a lot longer than you think you would in the LVT. And it's also amphibious, which doesn't help you, but it's funny. I don't know, got any thoughts on the LVT?
I mean, I think the LVT gets a real hard treatment because it isn't as well armored or as quick as the M2A4. But I feel like once you kind of learn how to use it, I feel like you survive a lot more and you get more kills with it. Do what?
Sorry, I knocked over my cans in the middle of your rant.
I mean, mostly I think just picking it up, the M24A4 or the M2A4, sorry, is definitely a lot easier for people to learn. But I feel like the LVT, once you start getting more familiar with the game, that extra crew survivability really helps you, and you have a lot more success with it.
Definitely, and you can spin it around and use the machine guns to either do like open top vehicles or SPAA if you want. You know, so you got that on you too. Now I'm not sure anyone does it that way. I just read that on the War Thunder wiki, but you could.
War Thunder wiki doesn't have the best plans ever on
it. No, hey, good thing I base half my videos off of it. So yeah, I don't know. LVT. I mean, it has a lot of. I agree. It has a lot of potential. Once you learn, now a lot of that potential is not going to be realized as a new player.
I think it's B.
You think it's B? It's weird. It's weird, and like I said, when I went back to play with it, you forget how much that height just exposes you. It is very tall. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to take cover. So yeah, I think B is fair.
It relies on, to play it well, also relies on good map knowledge. Make sure you're not, a giant tank trying to hide behind a small little hill. So new players aren't going to have that either.
No. So yeah, I said I like the LVT. I go back and play it all the time. I think as a reserve vehicle, it could do to maybe be a little smaller. Which onto the M2A4, same thing. I went to go play the M2A4. It's very tall. It's very tall. It's not as tall as the LVT, I don't think, but you're very exposed in the M2A4. I don't know. Yeah. It's a little better though. It's not as unwieldy as the LVT.
No, it is not. And also the other thing is, you get several other stewards down the same line, and you get them into rank 2. So getting familiar with how to play it and gradually getting better and better stewards, I think it helps new players a lot more, because playing different vehicles definitely make it feel overwhelming. Oh, you play the M3 Leaf off the LVT, then you go into play the Sherman. The game play style keeps changing up, but if you start with the M2A4, you get pretty decently through the tree as a new player with a very familiar vehicle learning how to play the game. I think it makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Stewart, it's the M2A4. I always want to call it the Stewart. It's not the same. It's not the same line. I don't know. It's really good. It's really good. The only thing I had bad to say about it was just yet again, it's still tall. It's very tall.
Yeah.
It's pretty survivable though. I'm not sure if you go back to reserve and you try to knock out Stewarts, it can be challenging at times. So I don't know. What do you say about the Stewart? I mean, it's pretty.
I think it's an A tier.
It's A tier. Yeah, it's probably one of the better reserve tanks there is. Let's see. What are we gonna do next? Yes, Russia. Let's see. What do we have? Yes, the T-26. It's about the same as. Is it exactly the same as the Chinese T-26?
It is completely identical and just as garbage.
Yeah, so we'll put that in the D tier. Which other Russian? Now here it is. The
Our first F tier vehicle.
Yes, the BT-5. By far, I mean, there's nothing to say about it. I mean, by far.
I mean, it fast, very good gun. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't really get how ridiculous the speed on this thing can be.
No, and I mean, especially, and like we're saying, trying to give credence to like how it is when you first try it. Man, you play a lot of things when you're new to this game. You're like, oh, it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame. And then you play this thing. It's awesome.
It's my preferred God tier or God mode vehicle. I love bringing that thing up to like just shy of top tier. Getting wolf packs and stuff with it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because people always talk about God mode. They're always talking about M22. Nah, you got to go with the BT5. It's a way better choice.
Oh yeah.
I definitely, and yeah, and just because for another reason, but the little bit of extra survivability too. It doesn't die quite as easily because it has that weird, it's that more, I guess, that more longer shape. I'm not sure exactly why, but definitely I feel like I survive a lot more. This is going right into the S tier. Oh, that's a great vehicle. It's probably half the reason people like to talk about how biased people are, how Russian bias is because of the BT5.
Honestly,
yeah,
honestly, I feel like the BT5 carries that a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, especially when you start the game and you're stuck in like some of this junk, and then you see someone cruising around the BT5, it has to be where it starts.
I swear you can never get away from them, and they're never not a threat.
No, I was at like 5.7 not too long ago, and I saw the BT5. Let's see. I got Italy, Germany, and Japan left. Let's go and talk about Italy. Let's see what do we have next. It's so tiny. I shouldn't have made these so small. The L6. Yes. That is the wait. They look exactly the same looking. I gotta.
The L640.
41 ends in 4. Okay, sorry, I should have made these so small. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, so we're gonna start with the AB41. You know,
It's quick.
It's quick. That gun. What is it? It is a 20 millimeter gun. It's kind of useless.
Well,
In my hands, it's useless. Doesn't mean that in everyone's hands it is. I don't know, how do you feel about it? I seem to do very well in this thing.
It's kind of like an early Panzer II. It's like a reserve tier Panzer II. Yeah. Now, it doesn't have the same survivability as the Panzer II. This thing can get very, very, very easily knocked out. But it definitely falls into early game autocannon meta. And it can do very well. And that it does have some pretty good maneuverability to go along with it. You can be very successful. Now, the survivability is going to be very difficult in this because just about everything can knock you out in just about one shot.
Yeah, it's kind of Panzer II, I guess.
Yeah.
Which again, the Panzer II is a little bit more the survivability. Well, now, of course, the Panzer II is not reserve.
Yeah.
So, there is that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it personally. I feel like maybe, I guess if we're being generous, you could maybe throw it with the LVT for that, or maybe a little bit, maybe C. Not quite as good as the LVT, but you could do well with it if you learned. I don't know. What do you think?
I would lean more B, but I could see C. Probably C.
But I guess I argue C instead of B just because I feel like it doesn't have as much realized potential as the LVT could have. Also,
well, and cars are also sometimes difficult for players to pick up as well.
Right, like we like the cars. Sometimes the cars are disorienting. I'm gonna put it in C.
Yeah.
I'll put it at the upper end of C. We're not ranking it that way, but I'll put it there anyway. All right, next, the L640.
I say this thing goes right next to the T26.
This is not the worst thing you could have in the game. It's not as bad as the French thing. It's pretty bad though. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
not
bad.
good. It's slow. It loses all the advantages of the other little thing. Also, it's just slightly flatter on the front too, just to really make you feel even worse.
I mean, I feel like you're in the exact same situation as the T26 in this thing. The only thing is the T26 has more one-shot potential, and this thing's autocannon gives you a little bit better chance of, oh, I missed that shot. Maybe my next shot will get him. But I feel like realize they're basically on the same tier.
They're about the same, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save Germany for last. Let's go into Japan. Sorry, I just tried these Japanese tanks for the first time yesterday. Man, that was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
Let's start with this one, the one that's not as bad. The which one is it? Let me get it pulled up. So I don't say it wrong. Kini or the Kani.
The Type 98.
The Type 98. Yes. I don't know. I don't like it very much. I don't know what to say about it.
I mean, yeah, this is just Japan's T26. I hate we're comparing everything to the T26.
It's very similar, though.
How much I dislike it. It's very similar play style, very similar drawback.
Well, because I asked if this thing was related to the T26 when I played this yesterday, because it's a very similar experience. You feel very, just kind of like everything's a little too slow. You don't have the kind of power you wish you had in the gun. I just don't like it.
I just looked at that gun rotation speed. It's horrendous as well.
Yeah, you can't use it.
10 degrees a second.
Yeah, no. We'll put this right down here with the T26.
Yeah.
Now here's this. We might have a bit of a disagreement on this.
I say this is an F tier vehicle.
You think this is an F tier vehicle? Sorry, I didn't introduce it to the good people at home. Excuse me, a little bit of a cough. The Type 89B, the Igo Co. You think that belongs in the F tier?
The thing looks more like a house than a tank.
It looks like the 2C, first of all. And I love the 2C. Number 2. Okay, it's not very survivable.
Did you manage to get a kill in it?
Yes, that's what I'm going to talk about. It has a heat round. And the heat round is great. It's very funny.
As long as you don't hit a fin or a tree or slightly miss your shot.
It's kind of like driving the reserve version of both the 2C and like the M109 together. Like I mean, when that thing hits, it explodes.
That's generous.
Okay, maybe more like driving like the AVRE and the and the 2C together. I liked my time. Now, you're not survivable.
No. And
you're not maneuverable. And you're not quick. But when you shoot, it makes an explosion. I think, okay, yeah, maybe it belongs in the F tier.
Yeah, I think it belongs in the F tier.
It's pretty bad. And yet again,
it's really bad.
I mean, what I was going to have to concede in the end that I was trying to avoid is we're talking about, like, how would you feel as a new player driving this thing? Bad. You'd feel very bad. You'd feel bad. You'd feel sad.
They're not going to understand how heat rounds work. And they're going to like, oh, this has higher pin, and then they're going to hit a bush and not kill anything and wonder what happened. Yeah. The heat round, I recommend, though, if you're in the game, go mess around with the Type 89 BI Yoko. Go mess with it. All right. On to 2 really good and then 1 really bad tank. The good old Germany, the Panzer 35T. I was very disappointed by my time in the Panzer 35T. We did a rat facts about the history of the Panzer 35T, and I think even a rat tutorial on how to use the Panzer 35T. But then in my prep work for this video, I played the Panzer 35T and I hated it. It's terrible. I don't know why you would. You get 2 Panzer 3s, the B and the E, which whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's just bad. It has terrible armor.
Yep.
It has a very weak gun.
Yep.
It has a worse turret rotation than the Igo Co we were just complaining about.
Yes.
And no, is it slower?
Is it slower?
I just looked.
I thought it was faster.
Oh no, it's barely faster.
This is what I say.
Barely faster.
Which I'm not sure if this counts, but also just situationally, I feel like it really deserves F tier. Because why are you using it? You get 2 reserve vehicles in the rest of these trees. Just use the Panzer B and Panzer E. There's no reason to touch the Panzer 35T unless you just like it. Like, because you think it's cool. I'm not sure how many Panzer 35Ts there are. Fans. Panzer 35T fans there are on the planet.
Quite a few.
Oh, okay. Well, if you like it, then use it. But strategically, I gotta say this is an F tier vehicle. This is just terrible. I was
trying to look for something. Its reload rate is also slower.
Not just bad. Just a bad vehicle, man. I'm gonna slap this right into the F tier. Not only because it's bad, because you're silly if you used it. So sorry. Comment below if you're silly. Let's see. Which one? Okay, now the Panzer E and the Panzer B. I'm gonna seem like an idiot if I don't know the difference, because I did a whole video on these. What one's the better one? Do you remember, Modrat, at the top of your head? Oh wait, which one's faster?
The Panzer E is the one that has more armor.
And it's more armor and faster.
Quite a bit more armor, by the way.
And quite a bit faster.
Yeah.
Panzer 3E is awesome. It's easy.
Fantastic.
Survivable, easy to use, good gun, quick. I mean, there's almost...
Its reload is really good.
And I think you can, it has the flat front plate, but you can angle, and, people aren't going to know what to do. I mean, not in reserve tier.
Well, even though it does have a flat front plate, at this tier, it's not that unarmed.
No, it's hard. I see Panzer 3Es all the way until, like, 2.7. This is definitely one of the next better tanks. Because, yet again, there's not a lot of nuance to how to use it. Whereas, like, the LVT or the Stuart, which are really good tanks, they're kind of weird. There's something really weird about the Panzer III. I think this might be This would be my number one recommendation for someone that was going to sit down and just play War Thunder for the first time. Even though I love the BT5, I would recommend they play Germany with the Panzer IIIs. It just seems like the best intro to the way the game works. It seems like there's not that much wrong with it. I think this is just a great tank to use. Panzer IIIB.
I would say the E's in A or B slot.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up in A. Maybe we'll put.
I think A.
Yeah, I'll put it up in A. Good job again. Now, just one for one. It's still not as good as the BT5, but it's just a really solid first tank. The Panzer IIIB. I didn't use this until this game came up to make the video, so I don't know that much about it.
So, here's the thing that I will never forgive the B for.
What's that?
I remember Germany being one of the first countries I played in.
Right.
And as a new player, I didn't know what was going on. So I would play the Panzer E and do really well in it. And I'd play the Panzer B and do really bad in it. And I kept getting confused which one I was selecting and couldn't for the life of me figure out why half the times I was doing good and half the times I was dying. And that's because the Panzer B had such terrible armor compared to the E, but it's almost identical in every other way.
Oh, I see. You got tricked by it.
So it was very confusing when I started the game because I was like, oh, this thing didn't destroy me this time. And then I'd load into the game, accidentally click the B, and then immediately die to the same thing I just lived against, and it just led to this constant bit of confusion until I finally figured out what the difference was. That's the only thing I don't like about the B.
I might put it a little bit, maybe like in the C tier, I was thinking. It's not as bad as the T-26, but it's not as useful as the LVT.
Well, the problem is it has such thin armor as well. You start really losing that survivability really quickly.
Yeah, it's just not. I think someone brought up, because I made the video talking about don't ever use the Panzer B, use the Panzer E.
Its turret rotation is slightly better.
And someone said that that really pays off. But I feel like it's not, because you could always just turn your tank if you don't like your turret rotation speed. I feel like it doesn't pay off. But, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it into C tier. Now, I was trying to talk up a couple of those tanks. Do you think we're going to be in trouble for the only S tier reserve vehicle being the BT5?
I feel like people are going to agree with us more than anything.
I just feel I was trying to talk up the LVT a little bit, the Stuart a little bit, the Panzer IIIe a little bit, just to see if we can get one more thing that isn't just Russia. In the top. But I feel like
in fairness, the other vehicle, the T-26, is in the S tier twice.
Yeah, I want to talk about this for a moment. Okay, yet again, I if you see my videos or you see my streams, I'm sure you hear me try to dismiss people talking about different biases and stuff. I will admit, the BT5 is just on another level. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But now I still don't recommend. This is one of the reasons I don't recommend new players play Russia. Is the BT5 is awesome and the T-26 is terrible. So you're going to just get grumpy really fast if you play it that way. The BT5 is good. There's nothing else to say. I don't know. It's better than the rest of them. I'm sorry about it. It's just good. Yeah. So, maybe next time we'll talk about, I don't know, our favorite tank destroyers. We'll think of one. We'll think of a topic. I'm sure someone will tell us a new one to talk about. But, that's all we have for today's episode of Tier List Making.
I feel like we've ran a podcast, even though neither of us watch podcasts or know how to run one.
I see 26 seconds of them on TikTok, so that's all the research I need to do. Also,
we sound just about as lost, I would say.
Yeah, for a see, I'm holding this as a YouTube video. As a podcast, this has been done very well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes, 10 times more content you get on the average podcast. 1/3 the content you get on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Hey, I am looking at my tech tree, though, and I am only 200 points away from the Tiger E, so that's something.
There you go.
But this is something, Modrat. It's also something that we need to give a special thank you out to the good people on Patreon that support us. We need to thank the Doctor, and we need to thank Candyland. They help us. Well, they help me not pay you mostly, but they also help us.
Yeah, it's mostly you hoard the money while I sit here and just continue to work away.
Well, I tell them that I pay you, so that's pretty good. So thank you. Tell them thank you, Modrat.
Thank you for trying to pay me and Rat being greedy.
But if you would like to join the Patreon, that link is in the bio. Not in the bio. It's in the description of the video. as well as the link to join our Discord and our TikTok and any other thing I can link down there. Click on them, please. You got anything else to say, Modrat, before you go?
I'm going to start grinding for that new F-111 now.
Have fun. Good luck, everyone.